I want to welcome you to the SARC Academic Success Workshop on Campus Etiquette. We're going to be spending just about 45 minutes together here or so discussing how you all can leave your legacy here. That's what I want to focus in on, that is leaving your legacy. And by you already coming here, you're starting to leave your legacy of being an engaged student at the university. So we want to continue that. So we're going to be talking about how do we leave our legacy. We'll talk about it through modes of leaving your legacy in front of professors and instructors, in leadership roles, in campus involvement, at work, etc. But how do you leave your legacy here at UCF, and how do you do it well so that you get the strong letters of recommendation that you deserve, that you get the opportunities to shine here at UCF? There's sometimes students just don't know how to go about doing it. They can envision what they want to be and what they want to leave as far as their legacy here, but they don't know how to go about it. So that's what we're going to focus in on here. Does that sound good? Okay, so let's talk about this. Leaving your legacy here. How can a student leave their legacy at UCF? How can you leave your legacy at this place? How do you think you can go about doing that? You know, how do you think you can leave your legacy? I'm going to ask my friend over here, do you have a position within your organization? Not yet. Do you have an eye on the prize on one? Okay. What position are you looking at?
For next year?
Yeah.
Hopefully, vice president.
Okay. Vice president of your organization? Nice. Okay. That's one way you leave your legacy, is by being active and involved in student organizations, taking it beyond membership is how you leave your legacy, taking it beyond membership. Now, how many of you in here are involved in a student organization? Raise them up high here. Oh, just about everybody. Okay. Now, you need to know, would you classify yourself as an active member or a member? Okay, that's what you got to start to think about now. Now, there's two ways to look at that. If you have become a member of an organization, good for you. At the time when you applied, or the time that you were inducted, or the time that you were invited into it, it looked like a good thing. Maybe once you've been in, it hasn't been so good and not really what you want it to be. That's okay. You're still a member of it. To become an active member is taking it one step further. Not only going to all the meetings that are there, but maybe you chair a committee. Maybe you participate in a community service project. Maybe you table outside the student union on behalf of your organization. You see them every Wednesday out there. You table once or twice. Okay? Then maybe you go for a position. You go for historian, you go for treasurer, secretary, vice president, work your way up to president. That's how you can leave your legacy, but it's got to be active. All right, you have to be actively involved to really leave your legacy. Now, everybody in here is a member of a student organization. How many of you would consider yourselves active in that student organization? Okay, for those of you who didn't raise your hand, you just have to find the one that'll do it for you. Okay, and that happens. It looks good, but maybe it's not fulfilling what you need, and that is okay too. You got to find the one that will do it. Now, how do you find one that is active? Look to see if they have an executive board. If they've got an executive board, that can lead to leadership positions, like my friend over here is going for VP shortly. If they've got an executive board, that can clue you in that you can become active. Okay? Are they involved in community service? Something that you would be able to participate in. That demonstrates active membership. Do they have, it's commonly called general membership meetings, where you would be able to sign in and prove that you have participated? If they have something like that, that's a good thing to look at too. Do they have scholarships that are associated with their student organization? If so, that's a sign of a good thing. You can become active by going out and applying for one of these scholarships. So look for a criteria of these student organizations, find the one that fits, all right, what your talents are, what your strengths are, something where you can make a difference, and go for it. Now, one of the myths that many students will do in becoming actively involved in a student organization, they sometimes think it has to match their major, or they think it has to match what they want to become. Not necessarily, okay? If you go to the OSI website and you look at all those different organizations that are there, we're like 300 to 400 strong, they're not all tied to majors. Okay, you know the famous one everybody talks about is the chocolate club here. Have you heard of the chocolate club? Okay. Do we have a chocolate major? Not that I'm aware of yet. Might be soon, but not that I'm aware of. Okay, but it's a very active organization. You see a lot of them out here on campus. Normal, just past that one. Active student organization here, not tied with a major. Doesn't have to be, all right? Graduate school admissions counselors, future employment, etc., they're not looking for that to necessarily match. What they're looking for is, if you joined, did you do anything with it? That's the bigger deal. Don't worry about the title of it. So if you want to rock that chocolate club, you rock it and become the president of it. Okay? They're not going to go, oh, she was the president of a chocolate club, opposed to president of an honor society. That's not going to matter. What does matter is having that kind of a title there. That makes natural assumptions. Okay, what would you naturally assume if somebody was given the title of vice president? What would be some of the assumptions you would make of that person? What would you do?
Good leadership skills.
That they have good leadership skills. Excellent. What would be something else you would assume? If you were reading, you were the person hiring people, and they said vice president of, what kind of other assumptions would you make? We got good leadership. What else?
They're proactive.
Proactive, absolutely. That's a great assumption to make. It's probably true. What else do you think? What's one more thing that you would think if somebody was vice president? What kind of assumptions would you make?
They're good at managing their time.
That they have good time management skills. Absolutely. Don't you want to have those qualities associated with you? Sure do. So you can see how that would look on your resume. See where I'm going with this? Full circle on it, okay? So with the student organizations, find the one that works for you the best and rock it. It doesn't matter whether it's associated with your major or not. Do it, make something happen out of it. Okay, that's how you leave your legacy. All right, how else can a student leave their legacy here? What's another way a student can leave their legacy? Yes, ma'am.
Engage in your schoolwork.
Mm-hmm. Engaged in your schoolwork. Excellent. That's how you leave your legacy as well. You prove to professors day in and day out that you have the top work ethic in that class. Other things are going to come of that. They're going to start to look at you and say, did you happen to know I've got a research project I'm going to be starting in the summer? Would you be interested in working with me? By the way, I've got a stipend of $1,000 be willing to give to you. Oh, sure. When can we do lunch and talk about this? If you show your work ethic day in and day out, that's how you can leave your legacy. They'll start to ask you about doing research. They'll say, this just came across my desk. I think it's something you'd be interested in. It's a scholarship here. I know somebody who's on the committee. Let me write you a letter for it. If you leave your legacy in this will, things will happen. You need letters of recommendation for graduate school, for employment, scholarships, leadership positions, etc. I just completed 5 of them today, letters of recommendation that I did for students. But they had to prove to me that they had the work ethic first before I was going to put my name to a paper. Okay? Doing that is how you leave your legacy here. You leave it with those professors that can do something for you. Okay, important things to do there. How else do you leave your legacy here at UCF? How else can you leave it? All right, I'll help you with the third one, okay? This was a little stretch of a one, but I want to bring it up. Is by living the UCF Creed. Is another way you leave your legacy. You might be thinking legacy is big, like we're going to name a building after you. That's not really what I'm going for there. If we do have a building named after Derek, that would be fantastic. And I would hope I could teach in it, okay? But I'm not talking that big, all right? Leaving your legacy here as a good UCF Knight, as the ultimate UCF Knight, as we like to call them, is by also living the UCF Creed. Now, how many of you know one tenet of the UCF Creed? What would be one tenet that you know?
Integrity.
Integrity? What's another tenet of it? Yes?
Community.
Community? Great. What else? Yes, ma'am?
Scholarship.
Scholarship. We got two more. Yes?
Creativity.
Creativity. And something that you probably do on a daily basis. I've only known y'all for a couple of minutes, but I have a feeling you do it on a daily basis. Starts with an E.
Excellence.
There. Oh, look at that. Did you like that? Yeah, you knew that immediately when I said you do it on a regular basis, right? Is that excellence? Demonstrating the UCF Creed. Now, you have already done that by coming here. What do you think you've satisfied by just coming to this workshop? Besides one of those requirements, somebody might have forced you to come here. What else have you done? Okay? What else have you done? What do you think you fall into here? Scholarship, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay? Achieving high standards. Scholarship, achieving high standards, excellence. I would say those two. That's what we like to say these kind of fall into. I think a little community, because maybe before you leave, you might recognize this person again on campus and say hi to them. Okay? But yeah, leaving your legacy here is by demonstrating the UCF Creed. And you've already done it in two places by just coming here. Not too bad for a day's work, right? You get to go home and brag to all your friends about this. All right? How do you leave your legacy with the UCF Creed? Through integrity. How do students do that? What would you think if a student demonstrated integrity, you would describe that as what? What would they do? Yes, ma'am.
Academic honesty.
Academic honesty, absolutely. I like the way you put that. That was much more prolific than just saying cheated. So good for you. And word on the street has it that, this academic honesty is a hot topic right now. You all seem to either have seen it in your classes or can recognize it. True? Yeah, it's a little sad that way, isn't it? Okay, good. How would a student demonstrate community?
Service.
I'm sorry?
Community service.
Community service is one way. Through service. How else would somebody demonstrate it?
Getting involved in the college community.
Getting involved in the college community, good. How else does one demonstrate community? Again, something else you probably do on a regular basis, and it's very simple. Very simple.
Show up to class.
Show up to class is a good one. Okay, I'm going to put show up to class probably under scholarship or excellence. Okay, but that's good. Who said that? I'm sorry. Thank you. Good one. I hadn't even thought of that. Nice one. Very good. Recycle. And that's good. I hope you are doing that every day. Ready? Thank you. Do you hold open the door for somebody? Or do you let it slam shut when they're carrying all those books and bags? That's community. That's community. If somebody is absent in your class and they're a good friend and you know they're just absent that one time, do you maybe help them out with their notes? Sure. If you're in a study group, do you help somebody out if they're kind of not understanding how to solve for X or Y, but you do? Do you help them out? That's community. Do you look out for people? You know how we have that whole thing on here, if you see somebody that, gives you that little gut feeling of not so right, you might want to alert somebody. That's taking care of your community. Looking out for each other. I know I do it on a daily basis for students because you're a knight and I'm a knight, okay, as they say in all the videos. So I've got to look out for my people too. Okay, we're all in this together, so that's another way that people can do it. So under scholarship, we'll go ahead and we'll say about attending class here. And let me just add attending class on a regular basis. Attending a class depends on how you define. No, we know it has to be regular, all right? That's how you can leave your legacy, is by attending class every day. Now you might be going, seriously, how does that work? When you need those letters of recommendation from your professors, they need to know that you came to class. That's how you get noticed. Even if you're in a classroom of 500, you're noticed when you come every single day. What would be another area of scholarship? How would a student demonstrate scholarship? How could somebody do that?
Keep your grades up.
Keeping grades up, okay. It is associated with grades. How else do they demonstrate scholarship?
Trying to take the classroom out into the real world and looking for internships.
Nice, nice. Application of knowledge, nice. Very good, very good. What about creativity? How does a student demonstrate creativity? If you were to see it, you would recognize it. And you would say, hey, nice job, you just demonstrated creativity from the UCF Creed. How else would they do that? What would that look like? What would it? Yes. Starting a brand new organization. I don't know if there is one, but I'll tell you, I would be the advisor for anybody who wants to get together, NASCAR fans of UCF. I would be your advisor without any kind of a problem. Just throwing that out there if anybody's interested. Okay, starting something where there's a void, that takes some creativity. You could join the norm, couldn't you? And just say, oh, okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and just keep with what everybody else is doing. Starting something brand new, that's a level of creativity. What else? How else do students demonstrate creativity?
Introducing something that's already been said in new, unique ways.
Excellent. All right, let me put introduce old concept. This is really not good. In a new format. Is that acceptable? Did I do okay by you there? Absolutely. All right, creativity is just what it does sound like, okay? Yes, you could say somebody who goes ahead and puts their work out there and goes ahead and demonstrates paintings and sculptures and all that. That's an obvious creativity, but you have to have that creativity to make that sculpture happen. Have you ever really looked at the sculptures here at UCF and kind of wonder where they were going with that? Okay, that takes creativity to make somebody else think. And I certainly have done that. I am trying to become a better appreciator of art. And sometimes that boggles my mind. But I always give props to those who do that. Okay, because you don't see me doing it. So I got to give them bravo points for that. Excellence. How does a student demonstrate excellence? How do you demonstrate excellence? Oh, now come on. You all know how to demonstrate excellence, I believe. How do you demonstrate it? Happens at the end of every semester. Thank you. Let's say we make Dean's List, we make President's Roll, we set those goals for that. All right, that's a standard of excellence. If there wasn't, we wouldn't have academic probation if there wasn't such a thing as excellence, because everybody would be on the same level. But you know that's not true. We have those different things. People who are put on probation is one standard. Dean's List, President's Roll is another standard. Graduating with honors is another standard. So excellence can come in the form of different standards that you achieve. But it's also just doing all these things that we talked about. Going to class on a regular basis. Working with others in groups when other people are struggling. Going above and beyond with excellence is what it's about. You know the people who are mediocre, right? Don't you know mediocre students? You're just your C student. You might not be out hanging out with them, but yeah, you know who they are. Okay? You know what it takes to make 4 A's in classes. That's excellence. When you can achieve that in knowing it, that is a standard of excellence. It's another way you can leave your legacy at UCF is working with this creed, okay, and demonstrating that on a regular basis. There's a reason we have it, and it's for you all to leave your legacy. Okay. Now let's talk about one other way that we can demonstrate our legacy. Okay. And that's through recognition. Right now at this current time on campus, we're going through the process of what is called nominations for PLC. Does anybody know what PLC stands for? What does it stand for?
President's Leadership Council.
President's Leadership Council is what it stands for. One of the more prestigious things on campus to be associated with is PLC, as we call it here. So that is a standard of recognition. So I would encourage you to go to the UCF homepage, type in PLC, and there's going to be a link that will come up in association with this. And look at that and say, that would be something great to be recognized on, is serving on the President's Leadership Council. Absolutely. How else are students recognized? What would be something else? Do you know of? Might not know them yet. I'm sorry? Yes. Get a lot of these if you're in programs that you've done. You save those certificates and make sure you have them in your portfolio so that you can bring them out at any time, whether it's an interview, whether you have to submit a portfolio or something. You keep all of those certificates. I still have all of mine. Not only from, yes, undergrad, but even currently today in my file is a recognition file in my filing cabinet. And anything that I do where I get recognized for it goes right in there. You all should be doing the same thing. Absolutely doing the same thing. Do you know of Order of Pegasus?
Yes.
What is Order of Pegasus established with? Okay, it is associated with academics. It's not necessarily honors. That is determined within each department, as the phrase is graduating with honors, meaning either that magnum, summa, or cum laude. That's within your own departments. It is associated with academic excellence. In addition to that, it's also other things that a student has done here on campus through involvement, through other recognitions. Okay, whether it's a student who has been an orientation team leader, has been a peer mentor, has served in different leadership roles within student organizations, and has excelled academically. Okay, done some research, done some presentations, etc. That's what Order of Pegasus is. This is truly here the highest honor you can receive here at UCF, is being nominated to Order of Pegasus and then being chosen for Order of Pegasus. Order of Pegasus, you can see the pictures of all the UCF Knights that have left their legacy through this means right here on the second floor of the Student Union. Their plaques are all in the little area where you can see over the balcony out here. Okay, that's where their pictures are. And you can see who those students are. Again, I would encourage you, get online, just go ahead and Google in on the UCF homepage, Order of Pegasus, see what it is. Okay? Set some standards and go for this. What's another recognition that students have on campus?
First year scholars.
Absolutely. It sounds like you were one. Nicely done. First year scholars. Okay? What's another way? What are some of the things on campus students can get recognized for? How about being an RA? True? Okay, think about these things. These are things that are associated with campus that you can leave your legacy. Orientation team leader, peer mentor. Peer mentors are everywhere on this campus. There's so many programs that are screaming for peer mentors through victim services, through SDES, through my division, that's for sure, through SLS 1501, through lead scholars, through honors, you name it. There are peer mentors that are needed out there. Okay? Another great way that you leave your legacy. Okay? Through these type of positions. So peer mentoring. Is one. Being a UCF ambassador is another one. You know the students who give the tours? You see that? The art of walking backwards and talking at the same time? Not easy to do. I was one where I went to school. Only ran into a tree one time. Lost my balance of where I was. But that's there. But they do a lot better things than just walk backwards and talk at the same time, okay? Very good ambassadors of UCF. This is how you get the recognition. Okay, so think about these ways of doing it. This is how you leave your legacy. Now, how does this all go into campus etiquette? The only way you get these recognitions, the only way you get these letters of recommendation, the only way that you are known is by having your stuff tight. You know what I mean by that? What do I mean when your stuff has to be tight? What does that mean? Your stuff has to be tight. Yes, sir.
Keeping your grades up.
Keeping your grades up is one way. What else?
Staying organized.
Staying organized. What else?
Oh, don't slip up in public.
Don't slip up in public. Nicely said. Nicely said. I like that. Don't slip up in public. AKA Facebook. Okay? Facebook did not exist when I was in school. Well, neither did the internet. But Facebook did not exist. When this came into fruition, I understand that it was strictly supposed to be for the youth of America in a fun way. True? In a social networking, as we call it now, way. Is that truly what it is now? No, because you can find me on it. And I like to think I'm still the youth of America, but I'm not. Okay, so I'm on it. Are your professors on it? Absolutely. Are the people who serve on these committees to determine whether or not students receive such recognition on Facebook? You better believe it. So it's not that way anymore. So we need to clean up our Facebooks. I would so empower you all to use Facebook as a means of promoting yourself. It's like an online resume almost. You got to get rid of some of those photos. I'm talking to the wrong choir here. I'm just saying your friends need to get rid of some of those photos. Okay? Or you might not need to be tagged, poked, prodded, whatever the phrase is, to some of these sites. Okay? It shows you how big I am on Facebook. I have a student assistant who takes care of my page, okay, because I don't know what I'm doing with it. All right, so she takes care of it for me. I just don't know what I'm doing with it. Just making sure there's nothing nasty on there. But I would use it as a means of promoting yourself. When you're getting these recognitions, you better have somebody there with a camera taking your photo, getting that certificate. You're doing community service work, get a photo of it, put it out there. Guess what, folks? I just completed 7 hours of community service work at a veterans hospital. Get some photos up there that are like that. Okay, your student organizations that you're in, if you've got t-shirts, wear the t-shirts with a bunch of other people, take a picture. This is me at, and I'm in. I would be so promoting my stuff on Facebook like there is no tomorrow if I was a student of today. And if you don't think that scholarship people are looking at this, employers are looking at it, graduate admissions counselors are, yes, they are. It's one of the, probably the top 3 things that we do is we go to a student's Facebook page now. Not the original intent of it, I get that, but we've all got to move with the times now. All right? So watch yourself on that Facebook, but I would empower you to use it as a way to truly promote what you're doing. Okay? And then have the fun photos in a photo album in a drawer. Because all I can say is thank goodness there wasn't a Facebook when I was in school. Yeah, that's why those photos are in a drawer. Okay? That stuff can come back and haunt, and it's not fair. That's really not fair, is it? Is it truly? Is it really philosophy fair to be judged on Facebook? No. Are we? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I've seen some stuff. I have seen some, and it just cracks me up too, because I don't mind it, but students will Facebook me, ask me to become their friends. I'm like, are you sure about this? Okay, because I don't know how to say no. I don't know how to delete. I don't know how to do any of that, so I just say yes. So we go from there. Okay? So watch yourself with that. Yes, not slipping up in public is a big deal. And you've heard it on the news, right? Congressmen being in trouble because they were seen out doing such and such. We've got a lot of, unfortunately, people in education that are slipping up and doing things out there in the public. We've seen all sorts of profiles of individuals that have slipped up in public. It's just that's the society we're in now. That's why I choose to live 20 miles away from campus as opposed to right around the corner. Got to look out for that kind of thing. So watch yourself with that. If you want to leave your legacy, let's leave it strong. Okay, very nicely said. I'm going to use that from now on if you don't mind slipping up. Because I could never think of a proper way of saying it. That was a good way of saying it. Questions or thoughts that you have about this? Make sense? Make sense? All right, you guys have a great opportunity here at UCF to go ahead and leave your legacy. So I want you to leave it strong. Be thinking about it, not maybe on a constant basis, but be cognizant of your presence and what you are able to accomplish. Okay, because you do deserve these recognitions, don't you? Haven't you been working hard up in here? Thank you for attending this academic success workshop. For more information, please visit our website.